This is the Cole Cast Podcast with your host, Cole Bovey.
Hello. I wasn't sure if we were on or not because I didn't see myself up on the screen over here.
Oh,
but
man.
I'm just going to roll with it, though, and assume that we are.
Watch that. Boom.
Oh.
You
that
are
handsome fella.
live.
Hey, everybody. Once again, thanks for joining the podcast. We got a pretty good episode here planned. This is one of the first people that I asked about doing the show. So I'm super excited about it. Real quick, though, I always... Gesundheit, Baxter. We have a little dog running around here, and he's awesome. I wish we could get him up here. Anyway, real quick, special thanks to Bruce Hoyer at Next Edge Academy for providing the production and all the equipment, as usual. Come check them out. They do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, MMA, boxing, Kumdo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kids program available. No matter who you are or where you come from, come on down and try it. And as always, your first week is free. That means it costs you nothing to come in and try it. There's lots of good people down here. You should just give it a roll. No pun intended, but that's what you will do. Anyway, don't find a gym, find a community. No truer statement. Lots of good people down here. So, check them out on Facebook, Instagram, or www.nextedgeacademy.com. So, that's my marketing thing for today. My wife said, cut out all that extra crap. You know, say it all the time. And I'm going to get yelled at for saying that too. But I appreciate that she watches and cares. Anyway, that big bear paw that you just saw go across the screen, drinking a coffee, is our next guest for episode number 4. This guy, super talented, wonderful man. Probably one of my favorite things about him is just I'm a big fan what he does inside the octagon, but I got to be honest, I'm an even bigger fan outside just because of the stuff that he does. He's very genuine about it. It's totally not for any sort of ego type situations. And not even marketing. You know, I think he would do this type of stuff even if he didn't have his, the type of job and career that he does. He just seems like that type of guy. I asked him a long time ago if he'd do this podcast without even a hesitation. Yeah, man, just let me know. And it was as simple as that. And when I came to Next Edge, one of the first guys to be super cool to me, actually, I have a funny story about sparring with him a long time ago. He probably doesn't even remember. But, yeah, welcome, Sioux Falls Zone, the UFC light heavyweight up-and-comer, for sure, man. Yeah. Like, your time is due. Devin Brown Bear Clark.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet, man. There he is in all his glory.
Yeah.
But, he's comes to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, went to Lincoln High School. RFA champ. That was a big night. I was pretty excited for that. Yeah, it was super fun that morning going to work and seeing your mug on the front of the Argus leader and having the belt. I'm a big fan of all the local people around here because it's just so cool. But like I said, I am legit fan of yours and enjoy following what you're up to and the things that you're doing.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
You know, and above that, you are a devoted family man and definitely give a lot to the Sioux Falls community. Mm-hmm. You got a lovely, lovely wife to be.
Oh, yeah.
See her actually every once in a while working. And, you can plug anything else that I kind of missed, but we're just going to kind of jump into a few things here. And we're pretty free-flowing. If you guys are live and you got any questions, go ahead and comment. See what you have to do. Devin and I are pretty wide open to a few things, but
absolutely.
Let's let the games begin.
Let's do it.
So, sorry, I'm sweating. I should have not worn a long sleeve. It's kind of like that whole milk is a bad idea thing.
It's only 80 degrees outside.
So, I guess kind of let's just start out with kind of the martial arts scene and how'd you get into it and what's martial arts mean to you?
Well, I wrestled for a long time. Started wrestling when I was 7 years old. And never really thought about doing MMA until I was in college. And then it was like a few guys from the room, I saw them in the room. They were practicing jiu-jitsu. I saw them laying on their back. I'm like, what are you doing?
Get off your back.
It's in the wrestling room. I'm like, this stuff. I don't know about that. Like, I'm a wrestler. But then I was finished wrestling my second year in junior college, and then kind of needed something to do, and I remembered that, and then I got into an MMA gym, Team Knox Sioux here in town, with Sonny, and then never looked back after that. I got into it. I loved that I could use my wrestling and my striking, because I boxed when I was younger as well, for a few years or whatever, starting when I was like 6, and so just kind of ran with it, and it was a beautiful thing to be able to put those together. And I like working hard, and MMA is a sport that pushes you to the limit, at all times, whether it's the training or actual fighting. So I think I fell in love with that aspect of it, and then putting in the work. It's awesome.
That is one thing I will attest to, and even for very little of a sliver of the training that I've seen you do, you put in the work. Like, it's humbling to come in and see like the stuff you can do and put into it, and it shows during your fights. Like, I've never seen anybody just grind and just the heart. Like, honestly, I had to chuckle at your UFC bio page because it goes to your style. It's wrestling, strength, and speed. Yeah. Which, those are the things. And I'm like, well, if they're going to put those, they got to put heart in there, because man, oh man. I've watching some of your fights now, I've almost had a heart attack watching them. I'm like, oh no, he's not in a good situation. But then magically, it's just this, you just go, almost juggernaut style. And
yeah, I mean, when stuff it's tough, you got to get tougher. So that's kind of how I was raised, and how I've always lived. So if you get in a tight situation or anything like that, just keep grinding and work your way out of it, and never give up. That's the biggest thing. A lot of guys will get in there and they want out, and I've never.
I'm not gonna lie. If you had me mashed against the fence and were kneeing the crap out of my leg, I'd be like, "All right, I'm out of here, folks."
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, and a lot of people would, and so that's one of the reasons why I do MMA, is because I'm able to. My body allows me to, and my mind allows me to. So you got to be mentally strong when you're in there, and that's one of the things I learned young, is that mental toughness. Started with boxing and wrestling. So at a young age, I was putting in the work still, and grinding. And my dad's been a big part of that as well. He's always pushed me a little bit, not too far. He's always made sure I want, if I do something, you do it right, and you don't quit something once you start it. So that's kind of always been my philosophy, and that's what I live by.
Yeah, that's excellent. I guess one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about, speaking of training and wrestling as you're younger, I knew that was a huge part of your life, and I wish I would have wrestled when I was younger. We didn't have a wrestling program in the small town that I lived in, and now they do, which is awesome. Well, sort of, they end up going to a different school, which is still cool that they even opened up that, and I appreciate it. To me, it's a sport that I definitely appreciate, and like I said, wish I would have got in quite a bit younger. But do you have any advice for any younger aspiring wrestlers that are out there, or even parents that are thinking about getting their kids into wrestling?
Yeah.
And real quick, the caveat on this is my wife is going to be really mad that we're talking about this, because I really want to get my son into wrestling, but she thinks it's stupid. So, yeah, right?
Well, yeah, I got some words about that.
Yeah,
but
she just don't understand. Let's educate her.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad at pressuring everybody I meet with young kids to get them into wrestling, even if it's for a few years, because like I said, that the mindset that it teaches you, the mental toughness, and because life's all about ups and downs, and a lot of people don't know how to react to that. So in wrestling, you're going to be down at some point.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a tough situation, so it teaches you how to battle back and stay mentally tough through many situations. So that's really what I love about it. And so to get a kid in that at a young age, that's teaching them that, and it just helps out in life. And I've had to handle many situations, or been able to handle many situations, because of my wrestling or boxing background and the discipline that it took to do those.
And to elaborate on that, I feel like I grew up striking and doing that stuff. My parents, my dad, good old dads pushing their kids to do something fun. That was a really important thing, is like learning the striking and getting after it. But, you train as a team, you do your things. But when it comes down to it, one of the aspects I really admire is opposed to team sports, when you're out there, it ultimately comes down to you.
Yeah.
And what's going on up here and right here.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the biggest things I like about it, and that's what I'd like to stress to my son is he's going through that stuff. And even with my daughter, I always tell her like it's still you. It doesn't matter the outcome, what's happening. It's you. You're pushing through that, and even she wanted to wrestle. I told her to be cool with it.
Okay,
She's definitely not as aggressive as my knucklehead son, but. It's
that's all right.
Yeah, they get after it at home. Stephanie Gink and we actually laughed one day, and my son, I think he was last year when he's 3, and my daughter was 6, and we're in the mall, and Liam went for the double leg on Isabella, and we're like, oh, instead of being good parents, or she's not parent of my kids, she claims she'd like to be, but we were there with my wife. Should say that. Anyway, they wrapped up the legs, and all of a sudden we're like, oh. He looks like he's doing double leg. Is he going to get it? Oh, and all of a sudden you see my daughter's, and they took her down, and we're cheering. And of course,
2
my
points.
wife came over, and she was not happy about that. So we're high-fiving each other. And of course, we got Izzy up. She was fine, stuff like that. But it was just one of those things where it was just a stupid parenting moment, but still kind of fun. But
I have those all the time. Whenever my daughter wants to wrestle, she'll have a friend over or something, and like, I'll let them go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always entertaining, and they love to be rough a little bit, but as long as you teach them the difference between when to be rough and where. So,
what's your PR on deadlift? More than you, Lee. That's such a jabroni question.
Is that towards me?
I'm guessing so, because nobody gives a crap what I lift. I got a marshmallow body. I deadlift cake pans.
Well, I don't do traditional deadlifts. I do the trap bar deadlifts.
Yeah, I've seen you forged.
Yeah.
I was at, oh my lord, you move weight. I don't know what it is with guys named Devin, but apparently
There's a
you
couple
guys
strong
all,
ones.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I mean,
you have some torque.
when we work out over there at Forge Strength, the goal is usually never see how much weight we can lift. It's see how fast we can lift it, and how smooth we can lift it. So
That's really important.
so
I agree.
we always work up to our weights, and we're usually always doing reps, even if it's heavy weights. I think the most I've done is like 495, 5 reps of 495 at once. So whatever that equals out to, but
Yeah.
it's
A fair amount, and I assume you were probably doing a few other things prior to that and after.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We never just go do one lift.
Yeah, Matt Dolan has a way. He's kind of a twisted animal. Very simple movements, but can make you walk out of there making you think what the hell just happened?
It's hard work.
Yeah.
But it pays off. That's the extra stuff you have to put in. And most MMA fighters are catching around nowadays, and some aren't. But before I started at Forge Strength, I wasn't really doing too much for conditioning and weight training and stuff like that. And I definitely noticed a difference when I started doing it. And I think it's more guys are starting to do it nowadays. So
Yeah. I know we were talking about some of my weight loss stuff earlier, and I know I used to really not do stuff quite healthy, and I was very up and down. I considered myself the Midwest white boy Oprah, and I'd lose 20, 30 pounds, put it back on, go up and down, and adding that strength training to that and following stuff what Matt teaches, and they put out tons of content on social media, so you can follow them at Forge Strength, on Facebook, Instagram. They put out lots of good content and very simple movements and stuff you can do at home. People overthink fitness a lot and diet. It's Leo, to answer your question, I saw you up there, buddy. That was our last guest, Coach Leo.
okay.
I know I should be watching the Germany game, but I also should be at work, but I'm at my lunch break right now, and these guys are awesome. Let me do my thing. So I'm going to choose one brown bear.
What's the Germany game? Is that
It's soccer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Regina, of course, all about that, so that she'd like that comment. I assume it was her because I'm pretty sure she's the one wondering as well.
Oh, yeah.
But, I guess how important is your diet, and trying to keep that stuff in order? Like I know it's hard and it's crazy, and you know, of course nobody's diet is as perfect as they want to be, but I got to be honest with you, when like you're a pretty solid dude. What are you walking around at right now, roughly?
Between 225 and 230.
Yeah, and
I just can't. I was a little heavier,
but you're still like pretty lean. And when you got down to 185, I was like, oh my god. And I saw when I watched your looking for a fight interview and saw Dana had asked you. You're 185, right? And you're just like, yeah, I thought you might say that.
Yeah, at the time, I was kind of just doing my own thing for strength and conditioning, and I was in my diet as well. And I was walking around about 212, I think, right before that fight. And obviously I was a little smaller, but then, but a few months later, right after that fight, I grew a little bit, and then I was walking around, 220 something, and so it became a lot harder to get to 185, and so it showed in my fight.
Yeah,
that weight cut took a lot out of me.
And I was there for those weigh-ins. Yeah, and it's I've been at a couple weigh-ins. That was my first one, obviously, for the UFC. But for some of the other ones that I've been at, and went to Invicta one, and it's crazy, what you guys have to go through for those weight cuts, and there's something to be said about it. You can definitely do it a more healthy way, and I use that with air quotes for sure around it, because it's tough on the body, and I know that there are a lot of people that are shifting. Like Cowboy, he's moving up 170, and he's a beast at 170. I mean, he's a beast anyway, but
he's strong at 170, definitely. I saw him a few months ago, and yeah, he's a big guy now, and he's going to be more comfortable fighting at that weight, and stronger and faster and everything else.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of guys moving up like that.
Yeah, and that's what I did after my 185 debut. I got knocked out, and usually I have a good chin. I'd never been knocked out before that.
Did you contribute that to some of the water you lost? And
definitely like some of the weight cut, and just because it takes it takes a day or two to get over that weight cut, and
I'm sure
you're stepping in there just a day later, and the brain might not be fully recovered by then. I totally accept that loss, and it is what it is, but I feel so much better fighting at light heavyweight at 205. I can take those hits. I've been hit way harder than I got knocked out, so it's definitely it's something to think about.
Yeah, being more comfortable with that weight. It's really
so
true. I mean, obviously, it seems like a good idea to really go down, but of course, you end up there's a really perfect balance. You got to listen to your body, and I agree. Like, there's a lot of stuff like medically that I think where I'm like, oh man, like there's so much going on. Like you said, taking those shots, and I listened to a lot of Joe Rogan, so of course, I like a lot of his stuff, but he's definitely on point with like how bad it is probably for your brain. It takes so long to rehydrate from that. You guys can't use IVs, and I know that was something that you were never into. You always like to just get back into it, which I totally respect. And but even then, your stomach is shrunk down and everything else, and your body is super confused and depleted and trying to figure out where to put that water. It is, a great way to get it back, but there's so much you got to get back.
Absolutely. And, there's some guys that have it down to a science and do it really well, and their body can handle it, and they fight really well, losing, 20-something pounds or whatever, 20, 30 pounds.
And if it works for them.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you're doing that, you definitely have to get in a routine where you're doing it safely, and you're not hurting yourself in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on you for recognizing that and being able to negotiate and get through that. I mean, your body's your tool. I mean, it's your scalpel. Like,
yeah, and it kind of happened by chance. Somebody, like, I was fighting at 185, and I was supposed to fight 185 again for my second fight in the UFC, and somebody pulled out of a fight, and then I was able to fight at 205 against was it Josh Stansberry. So
yeah, you look good. So you've always looked really good at 205 though. At 185, I was like, I wonder how this is gonna be, just because I know like you are, like, if you see Devin in person, like he's a big guy, and he doesn't, like, not one of those like medium shirt guys. Like, he's just a guy that you're like, oh,
not all the time.
That is a farm boy like straight up South Dakota strong guy. Like you.
Well, I started working, hard labor jobs started when I was like 15. Started doing landscaping. I did landscaping for 2 summers.
That's hard work.
It's really hard, and I was kind of a grunt at the time, so just moving barrels of rock and whatever else, and just moving a lot of weight. And then 2 summers after that, I did irrigation and that's just digging holes all day long.
Yeah.
Like literally just digging holes all day long.
It can be some not fun areas to dig around here as well.
Oh yeah, but doing all that stuff, and I did roofing as well, and I was a carpenter, did construction. That helped me so much in my athletics, just staying strong and
there's definitely
in a
something
different
to be
way
said about that. Absolutely. I used to work on the railroad, and I'll be honest with you, that's probably when somebody can do that. I've been working on the railroad song. Every time we had
it was in my head.
Yeah, every time we'd like get a new guy starting, I'd be like, all right, get it out of your system. You have 1 week. 1 week to get it out of your system, and after that, you're mine.
Absolutely.
So and anyway, yeah, I was seriously my strongest at that level.
Oh, yeah.
And but it was also hard work, and I went home sore and got my ass kicked every single day. Like, I remember working in Texas, and those were long 16-hour days in the summer, and I threw up literally every single day.
Really?
Yeah. And then one day I remember I was sitting there walking, and we had these track jacks, which were great for like just farmer carries. That's where the farmer carry comes from, is carrying heavy things just by handle in your hands. And those things were 95 pounds a piece. Oh, wow. So you're walking all the way down and crawling up these bankments. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, sweet, I did not throw up today. And all of a sudden my dad rolled by it with a payloader, and the dust came by me, and I just kind of like went like that, and then I coughed a little bit, and I'm like, I just started barfing all over. I'm like, oh, there we go, streak gone.
Yeah, it's hard work. It's hard work.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, and at the same time, it humbles you as well. You're working hard, and
those are good skills to have too. Yeah. Just getting dirty, getting the labor, and it's something that people miss out. Nick Offerman preaches that all the time. The comedian, from Ron Swanson, for all you guys that pay. That was his biggest thing. He's like, I love acting, but he's like, build something with your hands, do something, get out there, learn how to learn a craft, and have something to fall back on. So
definitely, and it makes you feel good at the end of the day knowing you worked your butt off.
For sure. So,
and I had many of those days, and a lot of those days I was, working hard, and all I was thinking about is fighting. Is training. Like, oh man, I could be training right now, but no, if I just keep working hard, then I'll get to that. I'll get to where I can just train. So
I remember you and I were doing some sort of workout on the mat, and we started kind of chit-chatting about stuff, and this was when you were somewhere, I think you were training for your championship fight for the RFA.
Maybe Vegas.
Yeah.
Drysdales.
Yeah, something like that. And I'd asked you about working and doing your thing and kind of going how to balance that. And you're like, oh, it's good. I can get out of there and do that stuff. But you said, all I think about is doing this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I like it too. So you're like, no, it's all I think about, and it's all I want to do. And you're like, I will fight in the UFC. And I remember I've heard people talk about that. I'm sure Bruce has heard 10,000 people say it and come in I'm going to be a pro fighter. I'm going to do my thing. But there was something about the way you said it, and it stuck. And I was just like, this dude's gonna fight in the UFC. Yeah. It was one of those things. He's gonna be in there one way or the other. I didn't know how or when you were gonna do it, but it was gonna happen. And that was again something to say about your heart. You had your drive and what you were gonna do with that. And do you have any advice for anybody out there that are chasing their dreams? And I know it's cliche to say follow your passion, but I think there's a fine line of following your passion and
that's exactly
following
what
you're grinding at. So.
That's exactly what it is. You kind of have to open yourself up and believe in yourself, and not listen to people saying, "Oh, that's corny," whatever. Follow your dream, whatever. But no, it's really that's what you have to do. And going back to people overcomplicating things, and just simplify your workouts, work your ass off, just keep working, keep grinding, know that you're working the hardest, put that work in, and it'll pay off. Just keep going, keep moving forward. Matt Dolan down at Forged. He's, for those of you who don't know, Matt Dolan is
he trains a lot of the people from our gym here, strength and conditioning, as well as many other people. People in my building who are just strictly academic and other things. You know, just like here at Next Edge, there are a lot of people that come in all shapes, sizes, colors, genders that are training and doing it. And they really, one thing that he trains people like that, and they have their classes, so you should definitely check out that stuff. But he, you know, he's got an amazing speaking voice. It's like it's very deep and like captivating when you listen to it. But
Absolutely.
I always think about it as like consistency. It comes down to consistency, and that's a big one. And you know, anybody who has been successful at anything really, I think, could agree that consistency, it's a series of small little wins and a ass load of fails.
Absolutely.
That end up and just consistently pushing forward. You got good days and bad days, and yeah, and that's exactly, you've been consistent, just pushing through that stuff.
And well, I mean, that's what MMA is. It's ups and downs, and you know, if you're you go in there winning practice every day or winning your training session, you know, nothing went wrong, you didn't fail on anything, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, you're not trying anything new.
Yeah, you're not pushing yourself or whatever, but you need those fails and those ups and downs. Going back to when I got knocked out, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. I hadn't lost an MMA fight, and that's my one loss so far, and it was by chance a knockout, and I never want that again.
Yeah,
you know, that's
rightfully so.
That's changed my tune on things, and I'm actually, you know, started taking it less seriously mentally. You know, still doing my thing, but just started having fun with it. Going into that fight, you know, I was, you know, just a little too serious. And I've changed my ways a little bit in the last couple fights. You'll see my walkouts change. My first one, you didn't see me smiling. I was dead faced and, you know, ready to go. I was really focused, but these last ones, I walk out, I'm smiling, I'm dancing, you know, just having fun. And I think that's just part of growing in the UFC as well. You know, getting used to the big venues and all that, and everything that surrounds it.
I'll be honest with you. I was in the background with the medical crew, and like, just to see everybody doing their thing, and you know, the Premier Center and the energy in there, and for it to be happening that soon and that quick, and lots of awesome stuff coming on, and you know, see you and Ben and stuff go out there, and of course both of you guys, you know, had your losses, but you guys both carried yourselves really, really well after that fight. You know, you look like $1 million, you know, in your suit, you know, walking around, but you kept your head up, and you acted like a champ of life for that moment. And you're just like, yeah, it is what it is. And you just move forward, and like, I got some work to do. I'm going to make some changes, and we're going to carry forward. So, and that's what it comes down to. It's a good positive attitude. I like that quite a bit.
You have to have that attitude if you want to, you know, because you're going to lose. I don't care what anybody says. You're going to lose at some point. And when you do, you have to be able to accept that loss and move on. You know, there's some people that haven't been able to do that. Ronda Rousey, for instance, she would still, you know, she could still be champion if she hadn't took that loss so serious. That was it seemed like it was life to her that she lost, and
I think that's such a bad situation. And like you said, you put so much pressure on yourself. You've already failed, as you definitely will. I don't know. It's like the Icarus type thing. You know, you get too close to the sun. There's nothing else. You know, your wings melt, and boom, it's a long drop.
What goes up must come down.
Yeah, and you got to be prepared for that. Absolutely. Just have a contingency plan and do those things. It was. That woman did a lot for women's MMA, but it was also, I respect the hell out of her, but it was just kind of a bad situation where I think it's the right combination of terrible things, and it's unfortunate that she had such a break like that. But
yeah, because I really enjoyed watching her fight, and you know, she could still come back and still do good, but because she has all the talent in the world. But that just goes to show you have to stay mentally tough and keep moving forward even when you fall down.
Yeah, absolutely. Aaron Pollard says that, he teaches my kids that. He's like, what do you do if you fall? Get back up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do, and you know, dust yourself off. And,
absolutely.
Bruce brought up the comments there. James Crone said that before my podcast. He's my colleague, coworker, and he wished me luck on the way out. And he said that what was the comment there, Bruce? Yeah, must read. Before this podcast, Cole was talking smack. He said UFC fighters are weak, and he would beat any one of them in an arm wrestling match. I don't know why he'd say that, but it's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
No, James.
James.
Remember,
I don't get mad. I get even. I love my coworkers. We pick on each other quite a bit, and
you have to.
I do medical simulation for my full-time job, so I tend to mess with him quite often. And he is our front desk administrative guy.
Okay.
But like he gets super pissed when I call him like the secretary or something like that. So it just is. So one day I was just walking by and there's this free table stuff, and I walk by and I'm like, oh. It's a nice little thing. It says receptionist. So I just picked it up, and while he was gone on military training, he does way, way more than just answering phones. I can assure you folks, like he does a fantastic job. But I like sat the receptionist thing at his desk, and he came back to work, and of course he saw that. He's like, "You son of a." So it was nonstop.
That's hilarious.
But how much, I guess, and you've done a lot of training here in Sioux Falls, locally. It's a great scene. A lot of stuff comes up, but obviously it's a limited pool to pick from. And you ended up heading down to Jackson Wink. How did that change your game? And, you know, for any of you that don't know out there, Jackson Wink MMA is a legendary gym down in Arizona. And, you know, we got a few guys that are down there besides yourself. But, you know, some notable mentions that I wrote down, because I knew it was just a murderer's row and it was too many to even think about. And I'm huge fans of all of them. Yeah, Johnny Bones Jones, who's working on stuff, and I know you've done some stuff with him, and he was cool and helped out with the homies with different chromies. Reeves Teeve stuff. Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Yeah. He is fighting Lawler, which I love both of those guys.
Can't wait for that.
Oh, that is going to be unbelievable. So I was pretty jacked about that. And like I said, 170 at a month. Oh,
I love both those guys.
Yeah, same here.
Both really, really cool guys.
It's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know who I want to win. Like, I want both of them to go in there and give it hell, because that's exactly what they do.
That's what they do.
And secondly, I'm like, I hope both of them stay healthy and don't kill each other, because they are. I think this is one of those fights where they're going to leave it all out there. There's going to be nothing left when they get out of there.
It'll probably go down in history, you know.
Yeah,
it's just one of those matchups, and their mindsets going into it. I think that's both their goals is just put on a show and leave it all out there. So once you get two guys that match up like that, it's great.
It's kind of funny because you definitely have two different personalities. Where you got Lawler, who like I met him at the RFA event, and he was super cool, but he was just kind of like, hey, and I'm just like, hey, a big fan, Lawler, but he's just kind of keeps to himself, does his thing, which is super cool. But he still took times for the fans, and he wasn't an ass about anything, which I appreciate. You know, he's appropriate. Which is something I try not to get too fanboy about stuff, but there's certain guys where I'm like, I got to say hi to them, like, and let them know I respect them. And I in LA a couple of years ago, I ran into, we were eating out, and I saw George St. Pierre, and he was seriously maybe from where Bruce is sitting, it's maybe 10 feet, but I was like eating, and I look up, and there's GSP getting a salad, and I'm like, that's GSP. And then, like, one of my friends, like, turns around, he's like, what? And he turned around, oh, my God, it is GSP. And he, like, looks, and we're like, it is GSP. Like, it was, like, the accident. And then we're, like, trying to get each other, like, all right, we got to say hi. We got to say it. We're just going to be cool about it. We're going to be cool. Going to be cool. Okay, and we're getting ourselves jacked up about it. And then finally it ended up where we're like, okay, and the waitress is like, well, he's come in here a few times. He's a pretty cool guy. Like, our manager usually doesn't like it, but if you guys just walk by a table and just say hi real quick, I'm sure he isn't going to care. And we're like, okay, maybe he'll just come by and just say, hey, appreciate him, and out the door. Yeah. And we walk around the corner, and here he is, sitting hand in hand next to this really beautiful woman, having a nice supper. And we're like, man, we can't C block GSP. Like, that's not cool. So we're like, yeah. We'll let it go, and we like look back again. He like looks up at us and like gives us a head nod, and we're like, yes, good enough.
Take that.
Good enough.
Absolutely.
Like, it's almost like he knew, like, don't do it, guys. I'm having a moment.
Yeah, I mean,
so you just got to be respectful of that. But
those guys are so used to that, though. They run into it all the time wherever they go, and so they know how to handle it, and while being polite about it too. So it's kind of fun seeing all that stuff.
more notable mentions down there. You got Overeem, which I'm a big fan of that guy. Easily one of the best strikers out there. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
BJ Penn trains down there. Diego Sanchez, Andrei Arlovsky, Tim Kennedy goes through there. Carlos Conduit, Michelle Watterson. I saw her down at Stephanie's fight for Invicta, and she was super nice down there. She seems
really
like she's
nice.
exactly who she is, just the sweetest person on the planet. You just weren't sure though if like.
Boo.
But then
We don't like her.
I was sitting there. I'm like, how is she? You don't like her?
She's a terrible person.
Terrible person.
Terrible person.
Horrible.
She ended Jamie Cook's career from here, and yep, I hate her.
Oh, that
Hatred.
sucks.
Hatred. I'm out.
Well,
No, yeah,
you
she's
got
really
the
nice.
coach mentality on that one, though. I get it. But she was like, I saw her, and I'm like, it'd be interesting to see what this gal has to bring. And she fights strawweight, now for the UFC, and goes down there. And when I was down there, was it Yasako Tamada is her name? I don't know. She's a older MMA fighter, has just a huge record. Comes from Japan, and I remember Shannon when she was down there. She had to go say hi to her because she's such a big fighter. But oh my lord, Michelle Watterson went in there and was just the nicest person, smiling, hey everybody, and like doing her thing and bouncing around, which her Instagram stuff's hilarious. Like her last fight, when her mom was. She was talking about her mom. You need to stop blocking punches with your face, like just yelling at her.
Her mom is funny. Her
So
mom is
funny,
cool.
but yeah, Michelle tuned that poor woman up like it was just a massacre. But she was so respectful about it afterwards, and that's what I love about seeing good fighters like that. They're just great people on the outside moving in.
And that whole list there, all those people are really nice.
Yeah, Holly Holm, she always seems like super awesome, but she's a.
It was really easy when I first went there. It was really easy to get along with everybody. Everybody was very inviting, and just you felt very welcome to train there. And I think part of that is because people come from all over the world to train there.
Yeah.
And they're so used to seeing different people coming in and out, and you always got somebody that's tough in there, and they welcome it open arms. So
yeah, they seem very. They seem really open and accommodating for people that go down there and try to do what they can, especially if you're willing to put in the work. I listened to Cerrone's podcast, and listening to him sitting around the table with, some of those people with BJ and Holly and Michelle and stuff like that, and a few of those other guys. And it was just really fun to listen to him talk about what led him down to Jackson and Jackson Wink, and see what they had to do. And it seemed like you were welcome with open arms right away. And I know some of our local guys, Nate Flanders and Paul Hunoff are down there, fighting pro down there. And I don't know, it's pretty cool. I like following that stuff and just seeing the atmosphere and the brotherhood and sisterhood that they have down there. It seems like great camaraderie.
It's such a different gym because everybody is there. Most of them are professional fighters, and everybody there is there to get better in MMA. So it's strictly MMA, and that's every practice they bring it, and you get so much workout with all these different people, and that's the important thing about it. You get so many different looks, and you get train with so many highly skilled people, and you learn so much every day.
Highly skilled is. I mean, how many champions are rolling through that? Like I said, that is just a world champions. That is just a murderer's row. And like when I saw you, you look like you got pretty close with Bones Jones down there, and that guy seems like he works his whatnot off as well. Like I know he works hard and plays hard, and he's got his reputation, but it's cool. Like I big fan of his as well. I hope he comes back and just does his thing. Like
I hope so too. The first time I went down there, it was before UFC 200, and he was getting ready to fight Cormier, so that was a pretty decent matchup for him for a practice partner. Yeah. Being a wrestler and strong wrestler and all.
Yeah,
and
both
quick
your name
speed.
DC.
Yeah. I hate that we share that. But
I know. I watched the whole towel thing, and then I laughed so hard on social media.
Towelgate.
Yeah, I saw you magically losing weight.
Yeah. The thing about Cormier, I used to, he seemed like a respectful guy, but over the years he's kind of changed his tune and kind of, I think he does too much that to try to keep that persona of being a perfect guy.
Yeah.
And then he makes himself look like an ass. So kind of lost respect for him and whatever. It might be because I'm teammates with John, but I don't.
No, I get it.
know.
Yeah, you're entitled to your opinion, but yeah, I mean, it looked like that was a pretty big thing, and it was pretty fun to watch you like develop and grow closer with those guys down there and represent South Dakota so well. Sioux Falls, super fun in our local gym. You've always remained humble that way, that you could just bring that stuff back.
You know, I started amateur fighting. I was at Team Knox Sioux, and then I was really wanting to go pro. Amateur was slowing down. I couldn't get any fights, so then I hit up Bruce and made sure it was cool if I came over there and trained, and started training at Next Edge, and that's when I learned jiu-jitsu. And it totally changed
the mighty cerebral art.
Yeah, and Bruce has done a lot for me in my game. He's helped me a lot, and just opening me up to that jiu-jitsu, and then just becoming more well-rounded. And that definitely, I went up a step when I switched to Next Edge Academy, and then it just kept getting better and better and better.
Yeah, he has such an interesting way of like connecting with the students and being able to drive it home and just make things make sense, or he just has little tweaks that were like, okay, I think I'm doing that right, or you're not doing it, and he'll just walk by. And it's funny because he's just got these gigantic feet, he's just a big guy, but all of a sudden you just see these huge feet by you, and you look and you're like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? And he just comes shuffling along, and it's kind of like a horror movie where you're not sure. Not that Bruce is a bad, mean guy, but it's just, you want to impress the coach. Yeah. So you see him just go walking by, and you're on the ground, and then you wait for him. He looks at you, looks at your partner, and if he keeps carrying on, you're doing it all right. Yeah. But then he stops, and you're like, and he goes, start it. Nope. And then you're like, oh. But then he comes down, tells you like the most little intricate thing, and then it's so small, but then all of a sudden it works, and it just clicks. You're like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Like, I don't know. He just got some weird sense,
and that's the part that fascinated me.
It's even more fun talking about him while he's standing right there.
He's right behind.
But he's got his back turned to me, so it's a little bit better that I can do that. But I'm still stuck in a small room with him, so I got to be careful.
But that's what fascinated me about it. Just those little things that you could tweak and make these moves or situation that much better. And that's he did a really good job of helping me with all that stuff. And because after I started learning it, I had so many questions. And just he allowed me to ask all my questions, and I never felt stupid for asking them. So
yeah, and I think that goes for a lot of people here at Next Edge, and I think they carry on that type of camaraderie, and they interpret that and bring it into their personal lives. And as you said, there's certain things you learn here that you pull on, or just in martial arts sports altogether. Like I said, wrestling, football, what you name it, whatever sport you're doing, golf, it's a mental game. Like you lose up here first before anything.
Oh, absolutely.
While we're talking about that list of murderers, there's somebody I've been following at Jackson Wink. Tell me about Isaac Marquez, because he has been training with somebody down there. You may have been out for a little while, but he is a gentleman with Down syndrome lately down there that is training, and he's dubbed the future champ. I forget who he's training with right now.
Diego?
Maybe.
I don't know Isaac, I guess.
Yeah, it's he's listed on the website, and I look because I couldn't find his name, but yeah, he's on there. If you guys go look, it's pretty sweet though, because I mean that dude is in there putting in like legit work. And
does he go by Sherman?
Yeah.
Okay, Sherman. Yeah. Sherman's awesome. I love Sherman.
Yeah.
He comes in there. He puts in work, and Diego Sanchez has done a really good job of helping him out. And hey, if you're gonna learn the sport, who better to learn from Diego Sanchez? He's been doing it so long, and such a nice, humble guy. I love Diego. I love Sherman. I've worked out with him a little bit, and it's just awesome stuff.
It's another one of those things where it's very genuine, and you have quite the not following, but you are really involved with the community around here. Like your last fight promotion, you put out the shirts with Reeves tees, fighting for our homies with Extra Chromies, and I'm a huge fan. Mad love for the Down syndrome community as well. As one of my favorite demographics to work with while I was in the hospital or anytime. Like I definitely take my time just because I enjoy being around.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just good, pure heart people. And
Oh,
super fun. We had this guy, actually, his name was the Champ as well. He was the arm wrestling champ of the world, and he had his own belt and stuff like that.
Wow.
And you know, I took care of him and got to know him, do his thing, and he was super awesome. But could you tell us a little bit about Reeves Tees and your fighting or homies with the Extra Chromes?
Yeah. My friend Kevin Kroger, his son has his son.
That dude's
Camden.
a character. Yeah, I've gotten to know him a
yeah.
little bit over social media and stuff like that, and he and I texted a little bit.
He knows it too.
Yeah, he's coming on the show here one of these days. So
Oh, really?
big shout out to Kevin.
that'll be
Also,
interesting.
Kevin did have a fan question. He said, "How do you get your beard to look so nice?"
Of course he would. Beardalizer, yeah, beardalizer cream and stuff and wax and all that. So yeah.
Perfect. So anyway, moving on. Sorry about that.
Where were we?
Uh,
Down syndrome. Yeah.
yeah.
So Kevin Kroger, his son Camden has Down syndrome, and you know I met them and stuff and hung out with Camden, and you know we clicked right away, and then it just kind of spiraled into something where we can start helping kids with Down syndrome. So and that's what we started doing, and Kevin made some calls or whatever, and got a hold of the people at Reeves Tees, and we teamed up with them to do like a little mini campaign deal before my fight.
Yeah.
And because it was around the same time it was National Down Syndrome Day and all that, and I did some stuff with Holly Holm and John Jones, and we did a benefit deal at Chick-fil-A with Tim Harris, and Tim Harris has Down syndrome, and he owned a restaurant in Albuquerque, so it kind of matched up real well. I got to meet up with him and do some work with him, and it just had a lot of fun. We kind of just ran with it, and here we are still helping, and I've met a lot of people and have a lot of friends from it. So
it's fantastic. You actually met one of my friends here recently, or his son, Tom Brody, and they actually ended up, because I loved my Reeves Tees shirt that I bought. When I saw that, I was going to get a shirt anyway, just because, like I said, I'm a huge fan. All my friends here, like, I'd go broke buying all their shirts, but there are some where I'm like, ain't missing that one. Like, I got to get that shirt.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually love it. Like, it's super comfortable to work out in. Like, this isn't a plug at all. This is just straight up fact. Like, super comfortable, super well made. But when I got that thing and I went and woke up your poor wife to be at home to get it because the deliveries were made, and I was too stupid to actually read what the emails were that you were sending out about how to get your shirt. But I ended up picking it up, and she took a nap, and I knocked on the door, scared the crap out of her. But she ended up bringing it out, and it was beautifully wrapped, had this awesome little card. I'm like, I don't even want to open this thing. Like, it was just...
Who made it? Was it Walter?
Walter.
Yeah.
I've got Walter's card hanging up at my house on my, we have this family pin board with like pictures and different things like that.
Yeah.
Walter totally got that sucker pinned up there because it just meant a lot to me. Like, it just had that awesome touch to it. And,
yeah. Well, the thing with Reeves Tees, for people that don't know, all the shirts and everything are packaged by people with Down syndrome or whatever, and that goes to help them, and they raise money and stuff like that, and helps give them a job and all that. And I thought that was like one of the coolest parts of it.
Yeah, it's super cool. And yeah, there's a neat little picture of him on it that has handwritten out, and yeah, it's just, I don't know,
It's
very
really cool.
Very, very cool. Like, it is definitely better than just getting a shirt in a bag and being like, here you go.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Thanks. Like, it was just so much extra. Like, it was the best money that I spent on a shirt,
Absolutely.
honestly. But I was wearing it proudly, and we talked about him working out and being healthier and doing all that stuff. And I wore that shirt for your upcoming fight. But like, that day, it inspired me to like really bust my ass in the gym. Like, there was a little extra behind it just because I was like, man,
I remember you
I'm
sent
gonna
the
do
picture.
that. Yeah, and it felt so good, and I just let it rip. Well, then my friend Tom Brody, his son Colin, who wrestled and competes in the Special Olympics, powerlifting, and all this other stuff. And he's since graduated, and he's trying to find some extra stuff to do. Kind of like, you were saying when you finished up with your college wrestling, you had to find something to do. And Brady knew that I talked a lot about Next Edge and loved it. So he's like, hey, man, like, you know anything about the striking, whatever? I'm like, well, I think Colin really liked the jiu-jitsu program down there, too. Check it out. So we emailed Bruce, and Bruce was of course, like, yeah, come on down, like, no questions,
Yeah.
give it a shot. So Colin has Down syndrome as well, and he ended up buying the shirt because he saw like my shirt, and he's like, Colin saw your shirt, he needed that thing and like wanted all about it. But he came down here, and I got a couple really nice pictures, and I forgot to send them to Bruce, but I couldn't make it Monday, but it just warmed my heart to see it. And he's like, Bruce was cool, the gym was cool, but these guys were so good with Colin. Like, I really, really appreciate it. And I couldn't make out who it was that he was rolling with, but big shout out to the guys that were rolling with Colin and helping train him.
Absolutely, that's
Tom
very
was
cool.
really, really, really impressed with everybody. So Colin came back again the next time around, and he sent a picture. Is you and Ryan Devilak were rolling and helping him out, and it was just a fun picture. And like,
I didn't get a chance to work with him too much. I was bummed he left when we started going live. I was going to catch a match with him, but
yeah, he'll be back.
catch him
I
next
can
time.
assure you. Yeah, but that his dad said, "Oh, those guys are really, really big," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, Ryan and Devin, those are like two of the beefiest guys I know." But
Ryan, he's big.
yeah, one of the things I really appreciated is we ended up, you can see it here, guys. I got a couple MMA gloves, and Mr. Brown Bear ended up signing one. I'm going to give one to our boy Colin, who is a new, really big fan. So I'm going to make sure to get that out. And we actually talked about, I've got a second glove that Devin graciously signed, and I'm going to end up giving this away. I'm going to have probably Devin pick out just so it's non-biased, because I know a lot of people that comment, because I'm still at the friends and family mode for fan mode for people liking my stuff. But probably have Devin pick out somebody off of the Facebook site and comment, say what you like, why you like MMA, martial arts, and this signed glove is for you, my friend. So, again, thanks a lot for doing that. That really
no
means
problem.
a lot. But, Colin, can't wait to get this glove to you, buddy. I know you're going to love it and cherish it, and it really means a lot. Again, says a lot about your character.
Well, that's one of the things that we're fighting for with that is inclusion, and people.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, so I mean that's the goal. So it's awesome.
My wife had a couple questions for you.
Oh, okay.
She said, as a wife, mother, woman, how does your family handle being away from you for a certain time frame?
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Obviously, I hate being away from my family, but I do it, so it can benefit us in the future.
Yeah.
So that 6-7 weeks that I go down to camp, it's really hard on us. But with technology nowadays, we can FaceTime and all that stuff, and so it's a hard situation,
tough,
but we
eh?
make it work. And Megan, my fiance, she's one of the best support systems ever. She's so supportive, and she has been for over about a decade now.
She's so ridiculously chill, too. Like, I'm sure you've seen the not chill, because that's
yeah.
what we do. We bring out the not chill in our favorite ladies in life because we love
yeah.
them.
Absolutely. But I just couldn't ask for a better support system. Megan, and then my family and her mother as well, and I got my little baby Eden. She's not a baby anymore. She's 3, but
Adorable kid. Ridiculously
she's
adorable.
something else. But yeah.
Speaking of when you were traveling, one of the things I want to talk about was, like, what's it like lodging down there and, like, you having your roommates? And
Well, the first time I went down there, I stayed in the dorms, and I'm glad they have the dorms down there at Jackson Wink, and it's great because you just wake up and you go down to training.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But then I met some friends, so the next time I went there, I ended up staying with them in a house and stuff like that. So it's just
a little more room, and
yeah.
just kind of can separate yourself from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I
just
was
a
kind
little
of curious
more
about that. I'd
free.
heard about the dorms, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, it's awesome that they were willing to take you in like
Oh,
that.
yeah. And everybody's there for the same reason, so you're all it's easy to get that camaraderie and practice hard and train hard and stay focused.
So as you were going through, like, these trainings, and I don't know if you still are working outside of doing MMA and stuff like that, but see, stuff like that said again, damn it, I know where it is. If you how one of her other questions was, how does a spouse handle it when you want to follow your dream, but there's not a specific pay date and et cetera? Like you're not sure when that next stuff's coming, and how do both of you stay supportive yet realistic? I mean, she's like super down to earth, and she will say straight up, like, I am a dreamer and a half. Like I have 1,000 dreams and 1,000 things I want to do, and doing this podcast is one of those things.
Yeah.
So, and she's been super supportive with it.
Absolutely.
And, luckily, I've got great people willing to help support that. But how do you do that? Like that is hard, and
it takes a team, you know, and
for sure.
You know, we just kind of get through it however we can. Especially when money's not coming in, I'm not working full time because I have to train to stay ready for a fight that they could call me tomorrow and say, hey, you got to fight in 3 weeks or whatever. So it's a very hard situation, but like I said, we got a good support team, and then I have some sponsors and stuff, BHI Construction, Papa Docs.
Yeah, they've done a lot of stuff for you.
Yeah.
Like had those parties and stuff.
Both of them have been, supportive from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I actually used to work for BHI Construction, and as soon as I started, they helped me out, so sponsoring me. And then Papa Docs, they've been loyal for me now for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing.
I should do that with some of my. Behold. Thanks, Bruce. If you want to. I should reach out to like some of the people I worked with and be like, hey, remember all the time I did things for you? Should hook over. No. No, I get it. Like you're an easy guy to support and want to do those things. Mm-hmm. So that is probably a big, if any of you guys are business owners out there or whatever, and you want to help, support any of our fighters, they definitely appreciate that. And guys like Devin, I mean, I can assure you, they appreciate the living hell out of it. And they are doing it to support their family and to, put on a show. And like I said, Devin gives a lot back to the community. So,
and the thing that's hard about it is, UFC, you used to be able to have sponsors on your shorts and banners and stuff like that, and hats, but now Reebok stepped in, and they handle all that, and you can't have any other sponsors and stuff on there. So
that's tough.
That's been a tough deal because people want to see their name. If they're sponsoring something, they want to see their name represented at the highest level.
Yeah. That's where I love Cowboy, because Cowboy being Cowboy, he was wearing his hat a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't care. And he took the money and he donated it to, I think it was a military cause or something like that. Yeah. But he was just like, I don't care. He's like, I'm wearing the damn hat. Like, I'm Cowboy.
See, I wish I could do that. He's,
Cowboy's his own machine. That dude, like, that's screw you money right there. We're just like, nah.
He's made it. So
yeah, he's ridiculous. Yeah. I hope one day you can be like, I don't care. I'm gonna wear my construction hat.
Yeah, absolutely. But in the meantime, though, and I think they're working on getting back to that.
Yeah, I heard that
sponsors
they are
to be on the shorts and banners and stuff again. So
I think that's a good thing. It's good for the sport. I mean, I kind of get why they did it, but oof. I mean, I'm not affected by it, but I can totally understand. Like, oh man, for you guys, it's crippling because you are 100% just stuck to that. I mean, and also. Marketing sells you and them and everything else. So
that's the other side of the business is you have to market yourself, and that's where a lot of guys make their money is marketing. For now we're left with social media and events and stuff like that. So I mean, and it works out. In some cases, people get better exposure through the social media and having events or whatever, and doing different things than just one time in the cage. But it's something that's going to progress and be good in the long run.
One of my other questions my wife had was, what does your child think you do for a living? Because my daughter says I play with dolls because I do medical simulation, but that's what she assumes I do.
She knows I fight.
Daddy
fights.
Yeah, daddy fights. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
my kids, they come in here. They really like seeing that stuff, and you've met my kid. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's getting to be my wrap it up music. There's so much more stuff I want to talk to you about. But again, Devin, I really appreciate the hell of what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
You're a great role model, doing a lot of great things to the community. I wish you nothing but the best of luck in the entire world. How can some people follow you or see what you have going on?
I'm on Instagram quite a bit at Brown Bear UFC. Then obviously Facebook, Devin Terrell Clark or Devin Clark, and hit me on Twitter at Brown Bear C, I think it is.
Yeah.
Not too much up
Yeah.
on the Twitter game.
I'll yeah, same here. I'll put that stuff up in some of the show notes, like once I update the Facebook Live stuff, and make sure you can get it out there. But
yeah, if anybody is interested in working with me, just let me know, and that's on anything, whether it's community stuff or if you're interested in sponsoring or you want to come train, just hit me up and we'll work something out.
Real quick about that, I just got a text today. I work for the ambulance system here in town, and they are actually going to be across the street here at the banquet next Thursday. So if anybody out there in internet land would like to come, they need about 30 to 40 volunteers to come and help serve supper in the evening. If you guys would like to do that, we'd love to have you come and help out a bunch of your local paramedics and EMTs deliver that stuff. So there he is, the mighty brown bear UFC. Oh, that's a cute little kid, cute little family. Look at that.
Played basketball.
Yeah, you just said the bullies.
Yeah, anti-bully basketball game.
Yeah, that's so much, again, that stuff that I get to talk to you, but it was a great conversation. Like, I feel like this could have easily been like a 3-hour podcast, but luckily Bruce is smart enough to be like, Cole, save it for another day, my friend.
Absolutely. I just want to shout out my management team real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt Leon, Rick Guerrero, he's done a great job, and he signed me when I was my second RFA fight, so he's been with me for a while, and
awesome.
we've progressed and made it to the highest level, so just
yeah.
want to thank him.
Yeah, and you can see all of his pictures there. See, he's always smiling. That's one of the greatest things. A lot of good stuff to check out with him on social media.
Tim Harris there.
Yeah, so cool. You guys can... Yeah, just follow his stuff. Everything that you see, there's one of the homies shirt, but everything that you see on Devin's Instagram, I'd say it's exactly who he is in real life. He's been nothing but awesome to me. And you've been a really great mentor for me, even in like when you had a lot of important stuff coming on. And I know like I'm not the most best glove or pad holder you've ever had, but you allowed me to work with you and push you in times that you were deep in your training camp. Thanks a lot. Again, I'd love to have you on again in the future. There's so much more I'd like to talk about, but
definitely have to do it again.
So with that being said, thanks to everybody out there who listened. Thanks again to Next Edge. Check out Reeves Tees. All those other guys, Ink and Iron with Curtis down there, Performance Paint and Body, and Six Technology. So, and again, thanks to all Devin sponsors for helping him out. If it wasn't for you guys, he wouldn't be doing this, and definitely his fans. So I can assure you, if you see him on the street, say hello, because he's always willing to take the time to say hi.
Absolutely.
So, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a good one.